Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 72 shopping days left until Christmas, and you know what that means. That means there's also 21 days until Election Day, and it's the spookiest time of the year, friends. That's right. It's Christmas Creeps' home for the horror days. I am your host, Joseph Wade. Here with me tonight are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the human robot.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, J-Man, what's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just, it's like a step below existential dread, but like just a step below.
It's just called doomerism, I think.
Bubbling under. Yeah, I think we're all at that stage right now.
And that's the sounds. Those are the dulcet tones of Mr. Bradford. Brad, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey, Brad.
This is my Crypt Keeper impression.
If it's your Crypt Keeper impression, why have you said boys and ghouls?
That's the one. I think out of all of us, I'm the one who looks the closest to the Crypt Keeper in this cadre of folks. So
Bradford is in fact the nearest to death. Yes,
I get to claim that. I definitely look the nearest to death.
Oh,
I'm
come
also
on!
Definitely the baldest.
You are the most puppet-like.
I am the most puppet-like as well. I think that's definite fact.
I mean, if we had to do a contest to see who had the worst cackly laugh, I really don't want to have that contest, but I'm sure Bradford could win it in a cakewalk.
I think I could, but I'm not going to subject any of you to that.
Yeah, no listener wants to hear us do the Crypt Keeper tonight, so we're not even going to try. But yes, boils and ghouls, that is correct. We are talking about Tales from the Crypt tonight. As the second episode of the entire series, titled All Through the House. Yes, friends, this is one of our famous stocking stuffers. So famous, they wouldn't let us copyright it. I don't know why. I've already lost the plot, and I haven't even started drinking yet. But you know what? Let's correct that right now.
Can check.
Oh boy,
what you got?
I got me a Sam Adams Flannel Fest. This is a Munich-style dunkel.
So it's like their take on Oktoberfest?
Basically, it's like the Oktoberfest, the Oktoberfest's little brother.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's pretty good for a dunkel.
Anybody
dunkel. Else?
I've got an Aslan Arctic sauce. It's a sour with blue raspberry flavor, cherry, lime, milk sugar, and vanilla. It basically tastes like a Slurpee, but in beer form, and I am not mad.
Ooh, I'd all of those things, and then you add sour on top of it. I'm there for that.
Or like a rocket pop, I guess, since it's got the lime and the cherry.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's basically Four Loko for beer dads, and I'm here for it.
Nice. Four Loko for beer dads is perfect. J-Man, you working with anything fun tonight?
Yeah, I got this something my doctor recommended, Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay. Any special flavor or just the original?
Cherry Zero. Which, it's very funny that it's cherry Dr. Pepper, because Dr. Pepper already has cherry, and they just added more cherry.
Now with more cherry?
Yes.
200% more cherry?
I hope that much more.
I don't think I knew that Dr. Pepper had a cherry flavor to it until I saw it like written on the bottle one time, like Dr. Pepper, a cherry flavored soda. And it blew my mind.
Yeah, if you ever see like generic ones, like the Dr. whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever your local store calls it. Dr. Thunder, Dr. Wow, Dr. K, whatever.
Diet Dr. Extreme.
Dr. Kevorkian.
Yes, Dr. Kevorkian. That's what the K stands for. The K in Kroger stands for Kevorkian. But a lot of times they call it a spicy cherry soda.
Okay. Yeah, that was just not something that I grew up knowing, and I saw that like it was a couple of years ago that occurred to me, and it just like I'm not going to say it's a Mandela effect because the Mandela effect doesn't exist, but just it seemed wrong to me.
Here's what we got. Here's what we have. We have Dr. Choice, Dr. Bold, Dr. Perfect, Dr. Bob, Dr. Wow, Real Doctor, Dr. Thunder, Dr. Right, Dr. K, Dr. Shaw's, Dr. A+, Dr. Stripes, Dr. Chill, Dr. Skipper, the Doctor, Dr. Tremont, Dr. Snap, Dr. Perky, Dr. Shasta, Dr. Becker, Dr. Spice, Dr. Fine Soda, Dr. Xavier, and I can't even read that last one. Dr. Dynamite. There you have it, ladies and gents.
The Soda PhD family. I love it.
They're very well accomplished.
Yeah, with a party med school.
And they're the TA, Mr. Pibb. Oh man. That's great. I didn't expect to get into Dr. Pepper chat tonight, but I love it. It's almost like the different variants of I can't believe it's not butter, but in Dr. Pepper form. Oh God.
Yes.
So let's stop talking about food. Let's talk about Tales from the Crypt.
Let's talk about video games, because my main exposure to Tales from the Crypt is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
Go on.
Did either of you play that?
I did not. No.
I have it I've had it in my backlog for years. Never got to it.
Oh, there's one of the segments in it is presented like a I forget what they call it in the game, but like a creepy Tales type comic book, like one of the ones that Tales from the Crypt was in, because it was in like it had like 4 different titles or whatever.
Mm.
Got it.
And that is the most Tales from the Crypt I had seen until I had seen this, was that segment of the game. And I have to applaud this segment of the game for getting the spirit spot on of just like the shitty puns, just making light of like actually horrible things happening.
Right. Yeah. Just the idea of taking an absolutely like horrific horror premise and just making fun of it. I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. But Bradford, what's your history or exposure to Tales from the Crypt?
Just strictly cultural osmosis. I had never seen one before this.
Oh wow!
I was familiar with the Crypt Keeper, and the general concept of Tales from the Crypt, and various spoofs and other things like that. But had never seen one before now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I should mention right off the top, I guess, that this is very hard to find nowadays, unless you can go find a copy of the DVD sets. It's not streaming anywhere that you can get to. The episode we watched tonight is called All Through the House. It's available on YouTube, which I will put in the show notes because it's well worth watching. It's weird to me that it's not streaming anywhere, because this was an HBO original, and you would think that the HBO streaming service would have Tales from the Crypt. It does not.
Just another write-off, I guess.
Thanks a whole lot, Warner Brothers and David Zaslav and all those friggin' jerks. Thanks a lot. But no, Tales from the Crypt, for the unfamiliar, is an HBO horror series from the late 80s, early 90s. It was based on the old EC Comics kind of horror series from the 50s. And this episode in particular comes from... I'm trying to Google this furiously.
Robert Zemeckis?
This episode comes from director Robert Zemeckis, which right off the top blew my mind.
Yeah, I did not realize this series had some names behind it, like Joel Silver, Richard Donner, Zemeckis were all producers.
Yeah, definitely.
Arnold Schwarzenegger directed an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
This was a big series. I mean, it ran for 7 or 8 seasons, and you had just all of these like Hollywood, like I guess all the big guys like Richard Donner and Robert Zemeckis and all these horror and sci-fi dudes just getting together to make this goofy horror series, because apparently they all loved it. And it comes through in the show because it's just gross.
Yeah, I mean, all of those dudes, they would have definitely been like the prime age for the comics.
Oh, definitely.
At the time, yeah. And also, like, I remember this was one of those HBO shows that got chopped up and edited to hell and put on different other networks.
Yes.
Like, do you remember how they took that HBO or maybe it was even Showtime or Cinemax show Dream On and then just cut all the titties out and put it on Comedy Central?
I do remember that. I remember that. not a big deal in my household, but I do remember like my parents watched it on HBO, and then when they found out it was on Comedy Central, they watched it again because they liked it.
Yeah, I think Tales from the Crypt was on Fox. It definitely would have been edited down. I think the kill in this was gory enough that I don't think this would have been like the network version. This should have been actually HBO, I think.
Right. Yeah, it had to be HBO, but like, for my part, I guess I was always familiar with Tales from the Crypt growing up. I think my dad watched it on HBO, and I was never allowed in the room because it was too scary. And seeing it kind of now as an adult, like I absolutely get that. I would not have been into this as a child, even as silly as it is, and it's very silly.
Yeah.
But I do kind of love this. And so the episode we're talking about, it's the Christmas episode. It's called All Through the House, which I also need to stop and say, this is the second time they've adapted this story from the comics to screen, because there's a 1972 or 73 anthology horror film based on Tales from the Crypt, and this episode or this story is one of the stories in that movie. So if we really wanted to extend Home for the Horror Days, we could talk about Tales from the Crypt from the 70s. But I'm pressing my luck as it is.
I mean, we watched Let It Snow like 6 times, so.
It's true. So never say never. But I want to go back to who produced this episode, because like we said, we got Robert Zemeckis who directed it. We got Fred Decker, who wrote the screenplay. Fred Decker created the Monster Squad, among other things. Dean Cundy shot the episode, and we had a couple of actors in here who were in Back to the Future Part 2. And the fact that this came out in 89 tells me that sometime during the production of Back to the Future 2, all these people just said, you know what? Let's go make a Tales from the Crypt episode. Because you got the mom. So the story is about an angry housewife who kills her husband on Christmas Eve. And the housewife is played by Mary Ellen Trainor, who in Back to the Future 2, she was one of the future cops that takes Jennifer to her house. She kills her husband and in an attempt to get like his insurance money. But at the same time, the radio announces that a deranged serial killer has escaped from the local sanitarium dressed like Santa Claus.
I have to say, if I lived in a place that had like an institution there that had the name Criminally Insane in its name, unless I had lived in a place that also had a Batman, I would be like, I'm fucking moving.
It's got a really good school district.
All right, well, can we find a Batman then? There's got to be someone with dead parents around.
It's an interesting premise that the reason she can't call the cops for assistance is that she has just committed an murder.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's a fun setup, yeah.
It's a fun setup. The murder happens like right away.
Right.
So we get straight into the action after like 2 minutes of opening credits.
Yeah, you get the opening credits, You get Nat King Cole's Christmas song, and then boom, the guy gets a fire poker to the forehead. Oh, man. And then it mostly becomes a game of cat and mouse with the crazy Santa, because of course he shows up at the house. And of course he tries to kill her. But it's kind of implied that he's not so crazy, because he's actually going after people who apparently deserve it. Like this person.
Supposedly.
Even then, you have to ask the question.
Punish.
I thought about that. Like this, it's a very Silent Night, Deadly Night premise. But no, it's not like a. It could be somebody like Billy or Ricky from Silent Night, Deadly Night, because the guy is a deranged, killer Santa Claus. He's probably got something going on. But it's not some young dude. It's Larry Drake from Darkman. Or Dr. Giggles, whatever you know him from. He's one of those weirdo old, character actor guys. But yeah. Anybody want to take it away from me for a moment?
So there's this game of cat and mouse going on.
Mm-hmm.
She conks him out with the axe handle after some struggling. We also get a jump scare where her husband is alive for a moment, but then, surprise, he just kind of passes again.
Right.
She conks him out. My only thought is, I know she's in I'm being hunted right now mode and not thinking straight. She's already committed one murder in cold blood. What is a second murder in cold blood to protect yourself and your child? She's got the axe. The dude's knocked out in the snow. Just go and
just
go and chop his head off, right?
Right.
Like,
but then
simple as.
You get the other angle of it where she thinks she's gonna try and frame the killer, frame the Santa for killing her husband. So she tries to hit her dead husband in the head with the axe, and she can't do it, even though she's already kind of done it, to kill him. She
got it on the third try, right?
She finally did, yeah. But when you think like, well, she already hit him with the fire poker. Like, what's the hang up here?
This area has a really good school district, but they also have the worst forensic investigators possible. If she can get away with this, handprints all over the axe, fire poker wounds.
I mean, like, most of the cops are corrupt except for Gordon, and he just leans on Batman. So I mean, like, you're basically just hoping Batman's busy.
I like that you've established that this isn't a suburb of Gotham City.
Yeah.
They get a lot of snow there?
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, Batman Returns, a couple episodes of we did an episode of the Stocky Server, didn't we?
Yeah, we did the Joker episode, right. Yeah.
And one of the games, Arkham Origins, they all take place at Christmas. Right.
So, I mean, it's not unheard of for Gotham City to get to see some snowfall at Christmas time. I'm all in on this interpretation as well. Like, this, the twist is that it's Gotham City and Batman just didn't show up.
Well, okay, apparently we can watch the cartoon Tales from the Crypt Keeper. It's on Pluto.
Well, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
why is that available but not this?
And do you remember Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House? It's a fucking Tales from the Crypt game show.
No.
Really? Was the Crypt Keeper the host?
Yes, it was a kids game show with the Crypt Keeper was the host.
This is that like late 80s, early 90s trend of like hard gore and horror properties getting like children's adaptations.
Yeah.
This was in 96 though, is the crazy part.
Beetlejuice and RoboCop and whatnot.
Yeah.
Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House, 1996 game show, premiered Saturday morning children's game show that ran on CBS for 2 seasons.
On UPN.
Wow.
It's the kind of thing that you would see in UPN like after a couple of years, I feel like.
This kind of seems like a UPN kind of
just
like
thrown into the syndication pile, I would imagine.
I mean, man, I want to say this would go right in between like Mummies Alive and I'm trying to think of another like late 90s horror show.
Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, there you go. Erie, Indiana. Why not? But the end of this episode, I guess my only problem with this episode is it really ends kind of on a fart noise.
Yeah.
Because the daughter, who by the way, the daughter is played by Lindsay Whitney Berry, who was also in Back to the Future Part 2. She's the little girl that Marty steals the hoverboard from.
Okay.
She lets the killer Santa into the house because she thinks he's actually Santa Claus. He climbs up the house into her bedroom window.
Whom among us?
Who among us wouldn't tease a small child like this? But
no, I meant wouldn't let Santa in the front door.
Oh, I know. He didn't even have to come down the chimney.
Chris Kringle.
Yeah.
Here to bring me presents.
And he's like, he comes into the room and he's holding the girl's hand and the mom just screams. And that's the end of the episode.
You know, if you think about it, it's kind of an implied dead mom alert at the very end of the thing.
You know what, Brad?
Because it ends with an awful Crypt Keeper pun where he's just like, oh, "Don't worry about the little girl." He likes the older women in pieces. It's just, of course, the Crypt Keeper says that shit.
I thought you said no Crypt Keeper impressions.
I'm not doing a laugh. I'll do a fucking Crypt Keeper impression, though.
Okay.
But you know what, Brad? You know what? I'm going to give this one to you. I'm going to hit that button.
Thank you.
We have an implied dead mom alert. That's a first for Christmas Creeps, folks.
It's the Greek tragedy style dead mom alert. It happens off screen. It happens off screen, but is known to have happened.
It happens off screen and is announced to us by the Greek chorus. Oh boy. Be careful. And then, at the very end, be careful what you ask for Christmas. Oh boy. Like, how many puns can we fit into 2 sentences? The Crypt Keeper is here to let us know. And it's like, it's very impressive.
He's a dad. Gets it.
Yeah. The Crypt Keeper was a dad in a past life for sure. Oh man. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I wish we got more of these days. Like, I know Terrifier 3 is out in theaters right now, and that's apparently a Christmas horror movie that we can do at some point. Our Discord buddy Doomy Blues saw it and reported back and said that it was very good. So maybe we'll have to check out Terrifier 3 at some point. But like, I'm really into just this idea of like the scary ghost story side of Christmas. And like, yeah, just tell us a creepy Santa story in 20 minutes and get the hell out.
Yes. More scary ghost stories.
I'm all about it.
Christmas Creeps is a good name, but if you wanted to do a horror-focused Christmas podcast, scary ghost stories is not the worst. It's not the best, though. Terrible SEO.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, because if you're banking on it being a Christmas horror podcast, scary ghost stories really doesn't tell you the whole story, does it?
No, you just think it's a podcast with scary ghost stories, which, granted, it is, but doesn't really sell the whole Christmas link.
These guys ran themselves into a ditch really early and won't get out of it.
The Christmas Creep story.
The Christmas Creep. 10 years and still in the ditch. Oh my goodness.
All right.
So friends, first of all, would you play this at a Christmas party? That's the metric we always use for stocking stuffers. What do you think?
It depends on the party. It really depends on the audience. Like, if they can deal with like the level of camp and gore that an episode of Tales from the Crypt entails. Yeah, sure, I'd put it in the mix. Having friends and relatives and children over? No, not so much.
Oh, yeah. Like, I wouldn't show this to a small child. I would show this to my dad, and he would probably say, like, oh, yeah, I remember watching this show. But not to polite company. But then at the same time, if you're not down to watch Tales from the Crypt, I don't want you at my party. To be frank.
Fair enough. Big words, but fair enough.
That's just how I feel. J-Man, how do you feel?
I'm lost in a hole right now because I just realized that the Crypt Keeper John Casser also did a voice in Icewind Dale, the video game, and that's where I know his name from. It all comes back to Icewind Dale.
Right.
Yeah, this would not be a thing to put on like there are people who I'm trying not to piss off party, but if it's like just friends, it's like, hell yeah, we're watching Tales from the Crypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Precisely.
Yeah, it's not for a family Christmas party, but it's definitely for a friend Christmas party.
There you go.
How about that? Also, I guess my second question to you, has this inspired you guys to want to watch more Tales from the Crypt?
I could take it or leave it,
Okay.
honestly.
If I got into a mood, definitely, because now I kind of want to go watch fucking Demon Knight.
Oh man. Ugh. On my other podcast, which may or may not be dead at this point, I was barking up the Demon Knight tree for years, and Libby never took the bait.
It's a knight, but also a demon?
No, it's spelled Demon Knight with a K.
Man, this soundtrack though: Pantera, Ministry, Megadeth, Rollins Band, Sepultura, Filter.
It is the most me soundtrack that has ever been. So I understand why we've never done it on the OST party. However, I would still love to talk about it sometime. Oh well. For my part, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I just think that it was kind of slight near at the end. I don't think they had a really good hook for an ending. But you know what? That's how Tales from the Crypt goes sometimes.
That's from my little experience. That's what most Tales from the Crypt end on: is something spooky is about to happen, and then it doesn't, and the Crypt Keeper makes a dumb pun about it.
Right, right.
All right, now I'm back. I'm back on board.
Well, I mean, like the pilot episode, the first episode, the episode that immediately precedes this is about a guy who used to be the executioner at a prison. The guy who would pull the lever on the electric chair starts going out and electrocuting people who escape justice. And of course, you know, the cops find out who it is right away, catch him, and guess what happens to him? Electric chair.
Electrocuted. How ironic.
How ironic. It was I guess I'm just saying it was a little bit better written than this, but this is still kind of fun and silly. I prefer fun and silly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I'm of two minds of this episode. I really am. Last thing I'll say, you know, we talk about pinball a lot on this podcast, and you know what? Tales from the Crypt definitely had a pinball machine.
Golden Era? Who made that?
I want to say it was Data East, but I think that might be wrong.
Let me check IPDB real quick. Tales from the...
Yeah, that was Data East.
Data East was also... Are they the ones who made that Mario table?
I think so, yeah.
Or is that Gottlieb?
That was Gottlieb, yeah. That was Gottlieb.
The two lesser players.
Data East made, like, the Tommy machine and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
I have the list here. I have the list here.
Turtles machine.
Yeah, I have the list here of Data East pinball machines. Maverick, Guns N' Roses, WWF Royal Rumble, The Who's, Tommy Pinball Wizard, Tales from the Crypt, Mad Magazine. I didn't know that. Last Action Hero, Jurassic Park, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Lethal
One just
Weapon
based on
3.
Joel Silver.
Oh, I remember the Rocky and Bullwinkle table. That's right.
This can't possibly be right. This says that their Data East made a pinball machine based on Aaron Spelling, like the 90210 guy, but not actually a 90210 pin.
Just the actor?
No, the producer.
Oh, I didn't know if that was an actor or producer.
Okay, it says that it is a modification of the Lethal Weapon 3 machine commissioned by his wife as a gift to Aaron.
Okay. Well, that answers that.
Got it.
Point being, Data East made some fun pins too. They also, I'm not going to keep going because there's a ton of them. But the point is, Tales from the Crypt was a fun pin. I could go on forever. Oh, boy.
I could go on forever, baby.
I could do this all day. You made a Home Alone reference, and for some reason I went Captain America, and I don't know why. Anyway, friends, I think we're running out of steam on this episode of Christmas Creeps, so come back next week.
So it goes.
That's how it goes sometimes, you know? Listen, sometimes these episodes, these shows and movies give us a lot of ammunition, and sometimes they just plain don't. Like,
I mean, we've talked for longer than the episode was at this point, so whatever.
It's true. I mean, that's kind of our gift, isn't it? It's our gift and our curse.
Yeah,
where was I going with that?
We can talk about video games if you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, hit me. What have you guys been playing lately?
Oh, Brad
John,
died.
you want to? Oh no, I'm here.
All right.
I was just gonna let you go first. I'm still playing through UFO 50. Just wrapped credits on all of Xenoblade Chronicles series, and now I've started Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and so far it is very good. Puzzly game. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
probably going to make it in the top 10. Already can feel it, even though I've only been playing it for like 5 hours. What about you all?
I've been playing the Dead Space remake since it was free on PlayStation Plus this month. And I've been eyeing it, and the original Dead Space is one of my favorite fucking games ever. Dead Space is a game that kind of upsets me because it's 99% of like the dream game I would want to make. The only difference I would make is the main character would be a robot.
Would the robot still be able to stomp things?
Oh hell yes, that's an important part of Dead Space.
You'd have his big foot is for stomping. You have a bigger foot for stomping.
And speaking of Dead, I've been playing a little of Deadlock. It's a MOBA.
Oh, you've been playing it?
I've played it a couple times. Whenever I see the update, I'll give it a couple matches to see what they changed.
Okay, I still haven't had the wherewithal to play an actual match.
Yeah,
I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, I did my time in Odo ranked, so I mean, I'm used to some of the MOBA bullshit.
I don't want to drag my team down. I don't want to get yelled at, John.
Oh, definitely there are people like that. The biggest difference I would say between Dota and it is there are a lot of people who still play it like it's a shooter first, and it's really not, because like in a shooter, when you die a bunch, you're just wasting your own time, you know?
Yeah.
In a MOBA, when you die a bunch, you're actively helping the other team.
You're feeding, yeah.
Yes.
I say I don't want to get yelled at, as if the first thing that I'm not going to do before starting a match is go into the mic settings and mute absolutely everybody.
That is an absolute must, sir.
For my own sanity and my own faith in humanity. Anyhow,
I am 30 or 40 years old, and I do not need to be yelled at by children on a video game.
I do not need to be called a racial slur by a 13-year-old. Thank you very much.
Right.
Anyhow,
it's for my own mental my own mental safety and my own personal well-being.
Yes.
And for my part, I've gone back to grinding my way through Spelunky 2 and just beating my head against a wall, because that game is the hardest fucking video game I've ever played in my life, but I can't stop.
Speaking of Spelunky, have you heard the good news about UFO 50?
No, I have not.
It's the same people. It's Moss Mouse. It's their new game.
How did I not know that? Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get on that.
It's Derek Yu and company. And it's hard, but it's not as hard as Spelunky 2.
I got one good run in a couple of weeks ago where I feel like I actually found the final boss, but I didn't have any of the weapons or equipment needed to actually defeat it. And I was just farting around until I finally, ran out of time and the ghost killed me.
I don't know if I've asked you this. Have you beaten Spelunky 1?
No, sir, I have not.
Then why are you playing Spelunky 2? It's like Spelunky Super Turbo. No, I don't know. I
missed like half the plot.
I can't answer that question, but what I will say is this. Once 2 came out and I started playing it, I went back to 1, and 1 is like playing through molasses compared to 2.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
true.
I still want to go back and get the achievements in Binding of Isaac, but since Rebirth came out, it's just like, oh, damn, this is unplayable now.
Yeah, I guess there's that.
Because like, I'm at the point with Spelunky 2 where I know the patterns and I know how it all works, but it's just like the sheer evil random chance gets you every time.
That's the roguelike / the roguelike light dream.
Like I was playing it the other night, and I hit a point where I just kind of stopped because I wanted to like think about my next move. And in the 5 seconds that I stopped, something fell from the sky and just hit me and killed me. It's demoralizing.
It's the best. I fucking love Spelunky.
We should wrap this up before I start talking about Final Fantasy XIV some more.
We really should. And now that he's said it, we really have to wrap this up. So, friends, thank you for joining us for this stocking stuffer on Tales from the Crypt. I hope you enjoyed hearing us talk about Tales from the Crypt. Next time on the show, we will be bringing you a full-length episode on a full-length feature. And maybe, if you're lucky, we'll have a full-length guest joining us. Hooray!
So you're saying they're not a little person. They're full length.
No, I'm saying he has enough talk power for a full episode and not just 30 minutes.
Got it.
That means I can take a nap.
He's willing to go the distance.
We got a pinch hitter coming in, knock on wood. So that'll be fun. So check that out. And friends, if you have any questions or comments for us, you can go to our website, christmascreeps.com, where you can find all of our socials that we're on. You can find our Discord channel in the show notes, which we highly recommend that you come and join the Discord and come and talk to us. It's the easiest way. Or you can just email us anything you want at xmascreeps@gmail.com. Friends, am I missing anything or leaving anything out?
Yeah, I think you can find me in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm on the Primal Data Center. I'm doing a lot of front lines. Just start yelling about Christmas movies, especially Die Hard, and I'll yell back.
It works.
Yeah.
The system works. Bradford, how about you?
I'm good.
Do not try to find Bradford.
Do not seek me out. Do not resuscitate.
Do not at me.
Don't at me, because there's nowhere you can at me.
At the podcast, but don't at me.
You can find Bradford by just going to your neighbor's house, knocking on the door, and asking. 2 of you will get lucky.
Go to find Bradford by going to his house and yelling at the front door.
I'm just saying, if everybody goes to their neighbor's house on each side and knocks on the door and asks for Brad, 2 people will get lucky.
That's true.
This is true, but it's also an extremely inefficient way of finding Bradford.
Right.
All right, friends. We're really out of things to say now, so I'm going to end this show right here. Thank you for listening to Christmas Creeps. I have been Joseph Wade.
And I'm going to bed.
Good night, boys and ghouls.
Good night, boys and ghouls. Creeping real, y'all.
Stop.
Did he say Merry Christmas to all good fright?
I think so.
I believe he did.
Good. He's going to be disappointed in the Crypt Keeper if he didn't.
Oh, God.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.